Mane kim atmananena jahati yontataha
Starting.
Kim rikta harai svajanakya dashubhi
Kim riktare vajanakya dasubhi
Kim rikta harai svajanakya dashubhi
Kim riktare vajanakya dasubhi
Kim jayaya sangsriti hetu bhutaya Kim jayaya sangsriti hetu bhutaya
Kim jaya samskriti dubhutaya
Matyasya gehai kim ihayusho vyayaha
Madhyasya
Matyasya gehai kim ihayusho vyayaha Kim atmananena jahati yontataha Kim rikta harai svajanakya dashubhi Kim jayaya sangsriti hetu bhutaya Matyasya gehai kim ihayusho vyayaha
Matmananena jahatiya Kim rikta hare svajanakya dasubihi
Kim rikta harai svajanakya dashubhi
Jayaya samskriti hetu bhutaya Maltasya gehe kim ihayusho vyayaha
Kimatmaya jahati yontata Kim rikta hare svajanakya dasubhi Kim jayaya samsriti hetu bhutaya Matasya gehe kim ihayuso vyayaha Kimatmanena jahati yontata Kim rikta hare svajanakya dasubhi Kim jayaya samsriti hetu bhutaya Matyasya gehe kim ihayuso vyayaha
Ladies, Kim, what is the use? Atmana anena of this body. Jahati gives up. Yaha which body? Antataha at the end of life. Kim What is the use?
What is the use?
Riktaharaihi,
Riktaharai,
the plunderers of wealth.
the plunderers of wealth.
Svajana akyadashupihi,
Svanjana Kyadashuji,
they who are actually plunderers,
they who are plunderers,
but who pass by the name of relatives.
but by the name of the relatives.
Kim, what is the use?
What is the use?
Jaya,
Jaya,
of a wife.
of the wife.
Samsriti hetu bhutaya,
Samsriti Dutaya,
who is the source of increasing
with the source of increasing
material conditions.
material condition.
Majasya,
Madhyasya,
of a person
of a person,
sure to die.
sure to die.
Gehai,
Yea,
of houses,
of houses,
family and community.
family and community.
Kim, what is the use?
What is the use?
Iha,
Iha,
in which house?
in which house?
Ayusha,
Ayusha,
of the duration of life.
of the duration of life.
Yayaha,
Yaya,
simply wasting.
simply wasting.
Translation. What is the use of the material body, which automatically leaves its owner at the end of life? And what is the use of all one's family members who are actually plunderers, taking away money that is useful for the service of the Lord in spiritual opulence? What is the use of a wife? She is only the source of increasing material conditions. Can be. And what is the use of family, home, country, and community? Attachment for them merely wastes the valuable energy of one's lifetime. Do you remember, any of you, the little controversial speech that what's his name? I'm forgetting. I know his name. Famous kirtanier from New York in Vrindavan.
I know.
Indra. Remember, any of you maybe have heard the speech he gave, a very heavy speech. Remember that?
No.
Yeah. And was afterwards he gave an apology. You know that speech? He said, to hell with the GBC. To hell with ISKCON. To hell with all this. You know, if it doesn't...
He was compromised.
Ah?
He didn't told the GBC directly. He maybe said it different.
Okay. But it was quite heavy. I mean, this is something similar but not so heavy. If it doesn't serve Krishna's purpose, then what is the use? But he said, to hell with it. That's the New Yorker way. Anyway, I won't speak like that. But it just popped up in my mind. Famous speech by Indra. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, advises Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ikam Sharanam Raja. Give up all other varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. The common man does not appreciate such a statement by the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he thinks that during his lifetime his family, society, country, body and relatives are everything. Why should one give up any of them and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? But from the behavior of great personalities like Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, we understand that surrendering to the Lord is the right action for an intelligent person. Prahlad Maharaj took shelter of Vishnu against the will of his father. Similarly, Bali Maharaj took shelter of Vamanadev against the will of his spiritual master, Shukracharya, and all the leading demons. People may be surprised that devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj could seek shelter of the side of the enemy, giving up the natural affinity for family, hearth and home. You know what that is? Hearth. It's a fireplace. Hearth. In this connection, Bali Maharaj explains that the body, which is the center of all material activities, is also a foreign element. Even though we want to keep the body fit and helpful to our activities, the body cannot continue eternally. Although I am the soul, which is eternal, after using the body for some time, I have to accept another body. Tata dehantara praptihi. According to the laws of nature, unless I render some service with the body for advancement in devotional service. Unless you do that, you have to accept another material body. That's a long sentence. One must know that if he uses the body for any other purpose, he is simply wasting time. For as soon as the time is ripe, the soul will automatically leave the body. We are very interested in society, friendship and love. But what are they? Those in the garb of friends and relatives merely plunder the hard-earned money of the bewildered soul. Everyone is affectionate toward his wife and is attached to her, but what is this wife? I just got married. Krishna is always arranging Bhagavatam like this. One time I had a crash with my car. The same morning, Prabhupada said in the purport, sometimes the conditioned soul has a car accident and then he suffers. It's amazing, huh? The wife is called Stri, which means one who expands the material condition. If a person lives without a wife, his material conditions are less extensive. As soon as one marries and is connected with a wife, his material necessities increase. Pungsastriya mituni bhava mitam ayor mitto hridaya granthim ahuhu ato griha kshetra sutapta vitayir janasya mohoyam aham mameti. The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. This way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. Bhagavatam 5.5.8. Human life is meant for self-realization, not for increasing unwanted things. Actually, a wife increases unwanted things. One's lifetime, one's home, and everything one has, if not properly used in the service of the Lord, are all sources of material conditions of perpetual suffering under the threefold miseries: Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, and Adhidaivika. Unfortunately, there is no institution in human society for education on this subject. People are kept in darkness about the goal of life, and thus there is a continuous struggle for existence. We speak of survival of the fittest, but no one survives. For no one is free under material conditions. Om Agnana Timirandhasya Gnandana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitan Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Pradaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtacharya Shataya Panchakalpatarubhishcha Kripasidhyalimcha Pachitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. So what can I say after this purport? Huh? I can say something about our condition in terms of being attached to so many things, and because we also have to understand the difference between, for example, Prabhupada's point of view of India and the West. Because many times in the Bhagavatam we hear about, the family life is the deep dark well, and you have to become detached and so on. Sometimes very heavy preaching. So we have to understand also that we are already detached. In one sense, we are already not detached in a nice way. In the West, we are uprooted, which is not really detachment. We don't have roots. We can say we are mentally disturbed much more than, for example, in India or other so-called third world countries. Third world countries means America is the first world. I mean, Europe was the first world, but now even the phone number to America is one first. It's the first world. They say Europe is the second, and all the rest, really arrogant. So it's not a nice term, but we can say in those countries, people are maybe not as technologically advanced and industrially advanced as we are, but they are much less disturbed, mentally disturbed. That's a fact. You may not agree with me, but it's really the biggest problem in the World Health Organization says that mental illness is really the biggest health problem, or will become the biggest in the world. And because we are so uprooted, we don't have there's no such thing as almost, family life has almost become non-existent in the West. That doesn't mean that we are detached in a healthy way. That means that we are, we want to enjoy still, but not in Krishna's way, in the Vikarmi way. In fact, we can say that's the definition of a hippie. Definition is that he's, in one sense they were detached, or are detached. They don't want to work or have a family, but still want to enjoy sense gratification. So we can say we are a little bit in that condition. We want to enjoy sense gratification, but we don't want to take any responsibility. So we can come to a little higher platform gradually by following Krishna's Varnashram system and purify ourselves. Krishna says that he created it. Which is that verse? 4:30. I don't have a memory, so I have this book. My memory is gone. 4:30. 13. Chaturvana maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasaha That I remember. Must be here. Tasya kartaram apimam viti akartaram avyayam. So Krishna has created not only the physical world that we see, but he has also created the blueprint of the whole material world. You know, blueprint? Blueprint? Do you know this word? Blueprint means mode d'emploi. You can say the user manual, how to use this material universe, how to live in a family, how to work in different varnas, our occupational duty, material occupational duty, spiritual occupational duty. Everything is already there, created along with the universe. You can say it's like, if you know Plato a little bit, any of you know Plato, Socrates, Greek philosophy? No? He knows. He's a teacher. There is the conception of the world of ideas. Remember this? The world of ideas. That means, for example, a cow. The idea of a cow is already there before the cow is created. So the cow is a cow. It doesn't develop into anything else. This is Darwin's theory. Everything is already there. Krishna has created the subtle, you can say it's like a beach, a seed. Everything is in seed form. The modern idea is very different. The modern idea is that we make our values. We create what is good and bad. Right? This is the modern idea. Because of what we think, something is good and something is bad. But that's a big problem. Because maybe someone else will say, this is good for me. But then another country or another group of people will say, no, this is bad. And then you have a war. So, the best thing is to accept that Krishna has created values. And basically, our duty is to follow Krishna's orders, Krishna's injunctions. There's another verse for that in the Bhagavatam. What is that? Something with pumsa.
Sastya.
No. The yeah? Can you say it? And translation? And the translation of this, what is that?
The occupational duty for the human being is to
follow the injunctions of the Supreme Personality of God. Yeah. So, I think I heard some lectures from 1995, Ravindra Swarup, and also Satchidananda Swami was there in Germany. About his point, Ravindra's point, he was speaking about actually the position of women in ISKCON, which includes so many things. It includes the men also, how the men should behave and so on. So he said that we should also learn how to be, of us who are attached, which is, I think we can say most of us are materially attached. So we should learn how to become properly attached. And then gradually become detached. If we just want to become detached overnight, or immediately, that may be considered like, you can say, a mental disturbance sometimes. Something crazy. Okay, I just give everything and I had some similar idea. You may have also had a similar idea when you became a brahmachari. Just, okay, no more women, don't even want to think about it because we're so disgusted with what our experience, and now we just don't want to have anything to do with material life. But then gradually, material desires are there. You cannot just squash them like that. They're very powerful. They will come up again. It's like try to put them down and zoom, come up again. They are there.
An elephant.
They spring up. So it's not black and white. It doesn't mean I remember one devotee in Denmark, I don't remember, but Gaurahari told me, either he's a fixed up brahmachari, completely fixed up, or he just wants to have everything, marijuana, beer, just enjoy everything, all the good things of life. It's either that or that. For him it was like that. So it's a little imbalanced. Extreme. Now, I'm a brahmachari, a gung-ho brahmachari. You know this expression? Gung-ho. You know this from old time. Maybe not here in France, but we used to say a gung-ho kirtan. Hare Krishna. Maybe we should work a little bit on not being extreme. Some people can renounce family life completely. It's true. But very few. I can count them on one hand, almost maybe two hands that I know. Some people are very advanced devotees, very, very saintly persons. But I don't know how many percent of us have to go through the gradual process. Probably 95+%. Do you agree on that? I think.
Prabhu said that it's something that 90% of people forget in religion.
Yeah?
Around about that.
So sometimes when we try to negate that, we just try to destroy our material desires in an unbalanced way, then you become out of balance. So here it says that what is the use of a wife? What is the use of family life? What is the use of all these things? And Prabhupada says, if you don't use it in Krishna's service, so you can use everything in Krishna's service. You may be very rich, no problem. We have Henry Ford's grandson in ISKCON. What is his name?
Amrish Prabhu.
Great grandson.
Great grandson.
Amrish Prabhu.
He's very rich. He was very rich. I guess he kept something for himself and his family, but he gave a lot. So if you have Krishna, then you have everything. So Krishna is the one, is the number one. So if you only have the one, that's better than having a lot of zeros and not having the one. Can you imagine if you have the one and the zeros? That's pretty good. It's not bad. If you use it in Krishna's service, you can have the one and the zeros. But even if you have the one, it's much better. If we can develop that, having Krishna with his opulences, then we become a very powerful preaching movement, and we can do things in Krishna's service. Of course, money is not everything. Real value is land and cows. That's the real, that's Krishna's economy. You may have so much money, but it's just numbers on a screen. What if one day the government decides that now it has no value? What are you going to do? What will you?
Panic.
You're in trouble. So that's why we have to try to go in that direction of, we can make money also, but at the same time we should try to at least start thinking about how we can make arrangements to get the real values. We're just talking about material values now. Cultivating the land and protecting cows. And you can use everything in Krishna's service. Any questions? Three.
When you are mentioning the one without zero or zero without one, or
Yeah.
I'm thinking that about immediately it came to my mind the Goswamis, like Sanatana Goswami was only one, but once he wanted to worship properly the deities, then suddenly so many zeros were going on the Yamuna and get stuck there. And all the salt who was there had to build a huge temple for the Lord.
Yeah.
So the one is really precious.
Yeah. Because everything is coming from Krishna, right? People don't think about that, but it's not a problem to when you pray to Krishna. There's nothing wrong with praying for facilities to serve him. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're really praying for that.
The more we are pure, the more are coming.
But there's a limit. There's a limit to how much I can acquire or how much I can manage. That's also another point, because if you just work, and yes, I'm working for Krishna, but I can't chant my rounds, I'm completely exhausted, then maybe it's not really Krishna's service. Maybe it's just my false ego.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the lecture. When you said that we should be attached to family in the right way, so I heard from senior devotees that brahmachari should not cut the connections to the family, and that I should keep the relationship with my parents. So I did this, and I see that it has good. That my mother has benefit, that she came to the temple, that she still listens to lectures sometimes on Zoom. But I also see that by keeping this connection, my mind is attached to my parents, my family, and if I, for example, I hear messages in the evening, my sleeping, my dreams are less Krishna conscious, and it is this messaging, and this is keeping my mind very, very much away. So what is the right way for a brahmachari to be detached the right way to the family?
I don't know. If your parents are against what you're doing as a devotee, then it's not good.
Favorites or they're friends of.
So what's the problem?
If my mind is
It's
thinking
your
too
mind.
much of the family.
Yeah, if your family, if they're really against Krishna, they may not chant 16 rounds, but at least if they accept what you're doing, it's good. So the problem is your mind. Chant Hare Krishna and fix it. I don't know. One more?
Yeah, in regard to becoming detached of a life, it takes a lifetime. So we don't have to worry so much about it, because with the passing of time itself, we become detached. I mean, Lord Krishna obviously will give us a lot of suffering even in family life, even in Krishna conscious family life. So, by the very passing of the system itself, the Malashram, Devi Malashram Dhamma system itself, we come out totally cleansed and detached. And that comes with the passing of time, with the aging of the body itself. So it's, in one sense, it's normal to be somewhat attached in the beginning, but we don't have to worry about detachment. It's going to come on its own because it's such a hurdle in and of itself that we start from. But still, if we make it through positively, we come out victorious and move on to the next step. So it's part of the process.
Yeah, one devotee said that if you want to enjoy in this world, don't get older than 16. Keep it there. I mean, there are people who don't get detached; they just suffer.
Yeah, and sometimes they again remarry and
Yeah.
it's thinking, well, perhaps I blew it, let me try again. That's another trick of my own.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
I
Bye-bye.
Marriage. Madhan Gopal has got married, so
Yeah.
Gopal was married.
Yeah, we'll have a
We
big party.
congratulate Madhan.
We'll have a big party later and invite all of you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.